In this video, I'm gonna be reviewing these Michelin Defender tires. Let's get into it. These tires have been on my 2019 F250 for 65,000 miles. I put them on in January of 2024, and it is now December of 2024. Since purchasing these tires, Michelin has released an updated version. The size I went with were LT295/70 R18s. They're the load range E tire. After 65,000 miles, I have about 730 seconds left. When I bought these tires new, they had 1330 seconds. Let's talk about how these tires do in different conditions and what my experience has been with them. Obviously, the wear is pretty good, but I do keep up with my tire rotations. In the dry and on the highway, it's what these tires are for, and they are great at it. They're very quiet, and there is almost no rolling resistance. Even with this larger size, they are just buttery smooth, and I really have no complaints. With this truck and the camper that I have, the little camper in the back, I get about 16 miles per gallon if the wind is favorable, meaning, there's no wind. If I take the camper off, I usually get between 17.5 and 18 miles per gallon with these on. Now, I did adjust the tire size with Forescan in the computer so that my speedometer was correct, but these, they're kind of like a 34-inch tire, a skinny 34, so they're not huge, they're not a 35. The responsiveness in corners is incredible. I run 55 PSI front and rear when the truck is not towing anything. If I am towing something and there's weight on the hitch, I will inflate 60 in the front and do 70 PSI in the rear, or 75 depending on how heavy it is per the load sticker. These are load range E tires, but the actual weight rating for each tire is 4,080 pounds. So that means combined, all four tires can support 16,000 pounds. This truck weighs about 9,000 pounds with the deck drawer system, all my tools, and the camper and me in the back. So it's definitely loaded up, but it's not super heavy as it sits. So to get the best wear, like I said, I like to run between 55 and 60 PSI, both front and rear. In wet conditions, deep water, these are also exceptional. They do a really good job breaking through puddles of water. I don't think I've ever hydroplaned in the 65,000 miles I've done with these so far. They are incredible. Also on ice and hard packed snow, they're very good. I wouldn't say they're exceptional, but the number of sipes that Michelin managed to fit in these tread blocks is absurd. It's like they put sipes inside of their sipes, and you just get a lot of good grip. So yeah, I drove them in a couple snowstorms and like icy conditions, and I think there were very few times, there's maybe like 4 times last winter where I had to use 4-wheel drive. In terms of deep snow handling, I did not take these out in any snow that was deeper than like 4 inches. So I'm not gonna comment on whether or not you could romp these in like a foot of snow. I think at that point, if you're out driving in that, you should probably have chains with you or studded tires, or at least 4-wheel drive or a limited slip, something like that to help you along. I would not rely on these in those types of conditions, but they do really well on ice. I felt like when I needed to stop too, on like icy, really snowy days, you're coming down to the stoplight and you tap the brake a little bit, kind of test your traction. These will bite really hard in ice and snow. And so especially when there's that like sheen on the road, because a lot of cars have driven over it and packed it in, these do really, really well. In terms of dirt handling, dirt roads, washboard, these are also really good. They don't collect rocks too bad, surprisingly. I had a set of all-terrains before this, and those dang things collected rocks like a geologist, and these do a lot better. And I don't know if it's because the tread blocks are kind of closer together so rocks can't get in. I mean, you'll definitely find some rocks in there, but there's not a ton. So I'd say, dirt road traction is really good. Where I would be terrified to run these and would never run them is in any kind of mud. And I never drive in mud. I don't try to drive in mud. If I see mud, I'll usually avoid it. The only time I really saw like bad mud was at Overland Expo this year down in the Shenandoah Valley, and there was a lot of that red peanut butter mud that they get down south there. And yeah, I avoided that because I knew that I would probably get stuck. And even with four-wheel peel, I don't think this thing would make it through. So that all being said, this is going to be a great tire for 85% of you that just want something that rolls well on the road, gives you good traction on dirt roads or gravel, and handles well, responds well, is good in water if you're down south, or if you're up north like me, is good in snow and ice. And it doesn't have the 3 peak snow rating, so again, I don't think I would take these out in a blizzard in a foot of snow and try to like plow through, or plow with these for that matter. But if you are a hot shot driver, or you are a commuter, or you drive a lot on the highway, I would highly recommend these. The tread life has been awesome, even with me running more aggressive toe. So I actually did my own toe adjustment with a tape measure to kind of make the truck's handling a little bit more stable and help it track straighter. And I had to flip these to the other direction on the wheel so I could get even wear across, because the outside was wearing faster than the inside, obviously. And even with that aggressive toe, I'm at 65,000 miles and I still have like 730 seconds, or 630 seconds is probably more on the outside, the middle 730 seconds of tread left on these things. And you know, I think they'll probably get me through the winter. It might be close. I might need new tires, because when you get below like 430 seconds, to me, you know, DOT says your steer tires need to be at least 430 seconds. So I'm like, all right, they probably know a thing or two, so I don't want to run my tires much lower than 430 seconds. Great tire, honestly. Great all-around tire, very solid, very happy. Maybe like a little vibration at 70 miles an hour, and I've only had to get them rebalanced on the wheels one time when I got them remounted and flipped the other direction. So good job, Michelin. These things are sick.